Hello people and welcome to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Jennifer Diamond and I'm a certified plant-based nutrition coach living a whole food, plant-exclusive, sos-free, gluten-free lifestyle for health and well-being. And it literally gave me my life back and it can help you with yours too. So today I wanted to bring you along as I show you how I make a sweet potato and spinach Buddha bowl. Yeah. There's lots of things that I'm always trying to improve on in myself, and I try to do that with different pieces, right? Exercise, sleep habits, all that good stuff. But food is a huge part of that for me. And so I wanted to show you how I make a very simple, very delicious recipe that is great because it's got a lot of anti-inflammatory components to it, and that's something that I'm always working on, right? I want to bring down the inflammation so I can continue to heal my thyroid and just continue to heal my small fiber neuropathy and so on. So the first thing we're going to do is you're going to want to have 2 medium-sized sweet potatoes, and I already have mine here. I went ahead and washed them and then I chopped them up. They're not perfect, right? But you get the idea that you want them to be somewhat of a bite size. At least that's what I enjoy. And then we want to put that right on a silpat. Or you can use a parchment paper, but you want to have a lined cookie sheet. And then I'm just kind of putting it into one layer here. I also already started to preheat my oven, which is going to be preheated at 350 degrees. And then the next thing I want to do is I just want to take some seasonings and kind of sprinkle them on top of here. And so what I have that I'm working with right here I've got my granulated onion from Savory Spice, we've got turmeric, we've got a no salt seasoning, as well as cumin. If you're not a big cumin fan, that's okay. You can leave it out or cut it way down, but cumin is a really wonderful herb and seasoning to use. I'm going to go ahead and just get a regular spoon and I'm going to just kind of mix these up together. I already measured them out in here and now I'm just sprinkling them on. Now garlic is really great. I don't have garlic in here because garlic tends to burn when you cook it, but if garlic was something you want to add, we can certainly add it later. You could do a raw garlic, you could do a garlic powder, but for now we're just going to do it without the garlic and have the onion powder in here. And just coat it as best you can. You can even coat it in a bowl, kind of mix it up in a bowl and then pour it, but because the potato is so dry, I just thought that I would do it this way. Da, 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 da. There we go. Okay. Okay, so now we're got it going here. You can see what it looks like. It's coated very nicely. I'm going to go ahead and pop this in the preheated oven. I'm setting my timer for 30 minutes because this oven is a slow working oven, but you could check yours at 15 minutes and you just want to pull it out whenever it's ready, tender, and it's completely cooked. Okay, so while that's going on, we want to do a couple of other things. And the first thing we want to do is grind up some flaxseed. I use this flaxseed. Flaxseed, I buy it in its full form, and I'm going to go ahead and add it, which I already did actually, to my dry mix. You can use a coffee grinder or anything, but we want to make it ground up so that we can get the omega-3 benefit. If you eat the flaxseed whole, well, it's not going to absorb, it's just going to go through you, which isn't a bad thing, but it's not going to help with any kind of anti-inflammatory component. So I'm going to go ahead and put this and grind this up. We're going to want about a tablespoon of this. And it's done, and we were so busy having a good time, the time just flew by. Okay, so here we go. I want you to see what this looks like. Oh, There we go. Oh yes, perfect, perfect. Now you can really see the difference here, and just for fun, I'll show you in case you are not familiar with the flax seeds. But there you go, the original form. And let's see if I can just, whoa, scoop some out here for you to see. There you go, look at that, see? And so let's go ahead and measure out a tablespoon of our flaxseed. I actually put in 2 tablespoons here. I like to grind it and use it as I go. So I'm just gonna go ahead, well, I actually could have put it in this smaller one, which I'll do in case we need to use this bigger bowl for any reason, But now this is ready to go. And I've got a little extra, which I will use today, either in a smoothie or a salad of some sort, but I will use that up today. So now what I want to talk to you about is quinoa. Quinoa is a wonderful grain, and it's a gluten-free grain. I really, really enjoy it. If you don't like quinoa, you can use brown rice, you can use millet, you can use any other gluten-free grain that you like. Those are the ones that I'm thinking of because I use them the most, but there are all kinds of other ones, amaranth or whatever. And so I went ahead and used this organic quinoa. This quinoa is it's just like a white quinoa, you can see. Quinoa comes in all different colors. If you find the tricolor, wow, I say get the tricolor, but I just happen to have this one and it's not tricolor, so we're gonna use it. But the reason that I like the tricolor is because, like with most foods, when you have the darker color, it boosts up the anti-inflammatory and other properties that are in the food. Doesn't mean this is not a good choice, it just means, you know, if I had the choice, I would go with the tricolor. Plus, the colors also are fun in the finished product. So I went ahead and measured 1 cup of this, and then I rinsed it and washed it. You want to do that. You could do it this way in this little colander thing, strainer, or you can even use like a paint bag, which I used before. You're wondering what that is. It's literally a paint bag. And if you go to the hardware store, you can get a couple of these very inexpensively, and I put it in there and I just rinse this under the water. Either way is fine. And then this is the greatest part about it. It's so easy to cook, and that's why I decided to go with the quinoa today. So I've got my Instant Pot right here behind me. Let me unplug this and move it over because we are going to be using the Instant Pot. Okay, so I'm gonna take my 1 cup of washed quinoa, dump it right in there, try to get every last little goodie if I can. And then we're gonna add to that 1 1/4 cup of water, which I already have also pre-measured. Right here, 1 1/4 cup of water. And I'm gonna go ahead and put that right in there. Okay, and I'm gonna show this to you in case you don't see it over there, but you can see that I have it coated. So there is a little bit of water over the top. That's the perfect amount. This is a 6-quart Instant Pot. And so now all we're gonna do is put it in the Instant Pot, lock it in place. I'm gonna put the vent to seal, and are you ready for this? We're gonna cook it for 1 minute. That's it, 1 minute. Now it's not gonna take just 1 minute because it needs to, you know, take time to build up and seal. And then we're gonna do a natural release up to 5 minutes before we open it. But if you went longer, it's fine. And so in the meantime, I wanna talk about some other components of this. So once we have the potatoes and the quinoa done, we're gonna be adding some other ingredients. And I've already chopped up some red bell pepper. You can use multiple colors if you want to add the orange or whatever, but I really like the red bell pepper. It is packed with vitamin C. It's got a nice crunch to it. We're going to have it raw. We're also going to be using some spinach. Now, this is the Power Greens, which has a couple other things in it besides the spinach. But I really think that spinach is a great one, and spinach is in here, kale and Swiss chard. But if you couldn't find the mix, go ahead and just use the spinach if you can. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a couple cups of this, and we are gonna use it either steamed or raw, or a combination. So depending on what you like. And for me, well, you know, I like to try everything. So I'm gonna keep half raw in here, and I think that I might just get this ready with you to just gently steam it. I don't know, it just feels like it might be fun. So let me grab the steamer. Now I'm just putting a little bit of water in the bottom of my pan that I use for steaming. I have the steamer insert that goes in here, and I could put this directly in there, but sometimes I find that if it's a small amount, it sticks, you know, to the edges. So what I do sometimes, and what I'll do today, is grab one of my Corningware, this little bowl. I wonder if it has a measurement on it. It doesn't, but something that fits right in here, nothing in it, and then I just place these in there. Now, if you are already doing, say, the quinoa on the stove, you might be able to, at the end, put this in there and just let it wilt. But since we're not, I'm just gonna go ahead and gently start this steaming for a few minutes, and then that'll be ready. So we have our raw component and we have our cooked component. And so the other thing that we're gonna use are some beans. These beans happen to be pinto beans. You can use black beans, you can use chickpeas, you can use kidney beans, any bean you want. Hey, you don't want beans? Yes, you can use lentils. I dare you. Go ahead, add lentils. That would be fantastic too. But if you are going to use lentils with this, I would do the darker ones, like the brown or the green, just because they hold their shape a little bit more. And of course, all of this has to be cooked. We don't eat beans or lentils raw. So if you didn't just make these and they're pre-made and you want them heated up, well, you can heat them up with the spinach actually, and I think maybe that's what I'll do. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a U-turn here and see if I can add this in here. Not very official, but that's what I decided to do. And the other few ingredients that we're gonna be using today is lemon juice. I already did fresh lemon. If you don't have lemon, you can use lime, that's fine. I actually think today we are using lime, but the original recipe calls for lemon. And I just went ahead and used my little gadget here, and I was able to squish out all the juice, and this is the equivalent of a full lime or lemon. We've got our flaxseed that we ground up, don't forget. And then the last thing is we are going to add some raw tahini. Now tahini, if you don't have that, that's okay. It's just sesame seeds ground up to a paste, and you don't have to add it. It's really just to offer some creaminess. And what I want to do with that is take a tablespoon of it and mix it in with the lemon juice if you want to add it. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now with you. This is a brand new jar and it's got some liquid on the top, so I'm going to kind of go in. And I'm literally just gonna take a teaspoon of this and I'm just gonna add it right into the lemon or lime juice. Another thing that we're going to incorporate is an herb. You can, I mean, these are so good. Herbs are so good for you. And I've got them in my little herb keeper. This is the end of what I have here. And this is cilantro. I love cilantro. But hey, if you don't like cilantro, and some people don't, go ahead and use parsley. Parsley is amazing as well. And you can do what I do and use the stems, although the very ends I think I'll put in my vegetable broth. It's over. Yeah, well, it was only 1 minute. And so now we're gonna let it continue to cool down for a few minutes. I actually am gonna take a step back and just check this, which is fine. And then in 1 more minute, we are going to check on that at the halfway mark. But what I wanna do here is take out any, this is the end, so I've had it. So I'm gonna take out anything that just doesn't look quite vibrant and green, and that too. And then you can use an herb scissors, you can use a regular knife, and what's nice about this is that you can just take it and bunch it up, and then you can just slice it up like that. Isn't that nice? And if you're like me, I also like to use the stems, but I like to cut them even smaller than the leaf and use it all. If you don't want to use the stems in that, we'll save it and put it in a smoothie or do something else with it. And now we have all of our components. We're just waiting on a couple of the cooked things, and then we're going to put our bowl together. Okay, although the sweet potatoes aren't ready yet, I started cleaning up, and then I heard this and saw that it was already at, 5 minutes after. It's actually at 6, so I'm going to go ahead and natural release the rest of this. I went ahead and turned the fire off of this, and this is perfect. I just want to show you. So we've got our wilted spinach and our beans, and this is fine. I'm going to leave the lid open now. There we go. Perfect. I always take the lid off and hold it over the pot that we're cooking in, because there's usually a lot of water or condensation in the lid, and this way it'll prevent it from spilling all over my work area. So let me pull this out just so you can see how lovely and simple and nice this came out. Look at that. Can you see that? And I will show you that the best thing I love to do is fluff it. So you just fluff it. Oh my goodness. And it's so light. I mean, just a beautiful quinoa. There you go. And it's ready to go. So unfortunately, I don't have the sweet potatoes ready yet. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep this plugged in. I'm going to put it on, and I'm just going to close the lid. And I'm just going to let it be on keep warm. There is a keep warm button, and it's already pushed. And so we will be back. I'm going to just continue to straighten up. Oh, and you know what else I could do with you here is I'm going to go ahead and take the lettuce that we're using, the spinach combination, and I'm going to give it a nice chop. I prefer to have things chopped up a little bit more than the big leaves. I just think that I'd prefer to have a mixture of different things in my mouth. So maybe a little bit of the bell pepper, with a little bit of this and the other ingredients. And so I like to give it a nice chop. And you can do what works for you. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add that right into our serving bowl. Beautiful. Okay, so now I'm going to take a break, finish cleaning up a little bit, and we'll be back as soon as the potatoes are done. We're going to put this together and have a nice taste. Be right back. Okay, so I know that we had taken the tahini and mixed it with the lime juice or lemon, but I wanted to also finish up the rest of that dressing. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do that, and then this should be done. And so the first thing you're going to want to do is get some hummus. So I traditionally like to make homemade hummus, but sometimes, you just are out of time. And so I have some store-bought hummus that our family uses. And so I'm just going to go ahead and take a heaping tablespoon and just put it in a bowl. If you're making homemade hummus, check out my homemade hummus video, and it'll show you how I make hummus. But there are all kinds of ways to make hummus. And so this is what's so great about having it pre-made, whether you made it yourself or got it in the store. Always check, make sure that it doesn't have ingredients that you don't want. This one is an oil-free, and I think it may have a let's see, it does have a little bit of salt. So that's one that I typically don't eat, but at any rate, just make sure that you understand the ingredients, and that's why doing it yourself is so important. I also like to add a little garlic. Now, sometimes you've already put garlic in your homemade hummus, or it's already in there in the store, and that's fine. You don't have to add more garlic. But if you're a garlic lover like me, I say add a little more garlic. Garlic is so great for us, and I really enjoy the flavor. Now, you can do a garlic press, mince it. I'm just chopping it. It's just a tiny little clove that I have here. And there you go. Now, another thing, if you don't want to use fresh garlic, use garlic powder. That's amazing. And like I said, if you already have garlic in it, well, don't worry then. Let me grab my scooper. I love this thing. And I'm just going to pour that right into this little bowl that has our hummus in it. And then I'm going to grab our lime and tahini, a teaspoon at a time. I will add it right in there. And then I'm going to mix this up. Mix, mix, mix. There you go. And now what I'm going to do is use the back of the spoon, taste it. Now that's really good. It's not strong enough for me. It might be strong enough for you. So then you can either call it a day, or you can continue to add a little bit more of our lemon or / lime tahini mixture until you get it the right consistency, the right flavor, I mean. Now, if the flavor is perfect, but it's still a little thick because you want it to be like a salad dressing, a dressing that pours, then what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna add a little bit of water in. Let me just taste this again. And that tastes really good to me. And so look at, this is a creamy consistency. So I don't need to add water, but there was a time when I've done this before and the flavor was right. If I had thinned it out anymore by using this mixture, it would have been too strong. And in that case, that's when you'll want to take the same amount, just a small teaspoon at a time of water, and mix it in there until you get the right consistency. And I guess, you know what, just to do it, I will show you, because this can be a little thinner. There we go. Now, if you make a lot of this and you have it in the refrigerator overnight and you see that it thickened up, then decide, does it need any more of that lemon or lime and tahini flavor? Or can you just add a little bit of water? You decide. Now, some hummuses already have tahini in them. If you're homemade, then it's up to you if you add it or not. But I like having the opportunity to play with the flavors, and that's why I like to mix it separately. And there we go. Let's try that. Now that is really good. That is really good. Okay, so we're ready here with our dressing, and I am gonna now get our sweet potatoes out of the oven. Look at that, look! Whoa. Look at that, doesn't that look pretty? Wow. I'm just gonna go ahead and set that right down here and close this. That is really nice. Hot, 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 hot for sure. Let's just make sure that it's cooked all the way. And it is yummy. Okay. So I'm going to set this aside for a few minutes while we build our bowl. Now here we have our spinach. I like that it's in this bowl. I told you that it is cool enough for me to touch. And look, because it doesn't really stick, that's what I really like about it. And it's kind of an easy cleanup. So I'm going to go ahead and dump this out. This is just gently steamed. And for me, I like to chop it again. You don't want to chop it, don't chop it, but I really do like to chop it. There we go. And now that is ready for me. And I actually can put it back in here, all chopped. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're going to go ahead and take our bowl, You can make this into as many servings as you want. I have already here the spinach bed in the bottom. You can put this in sections around the side. You can put it on top, really whatever works for you. You can even start by putting the quinoa on the bottom of the bowl and then this as a second layer. I today am gonna do like a side-by-side kind of thing. So let's go over here and grab some of this beautiful quinoa. Whoops, maybe a little too much. There we go. Look at that. You can see. So I grabbed some quinoa and I've got the spinach. And now we're going to go and grab our superstar that we just made, which is the sweet potato. And I'm trying to see what I can use. Let me see. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take some of this beautiful sweet potato that's covered in the nice spices, and I'm gonna see if I can just dump some right in there. There we go, look at that. Okay, and now I'm gonna add some of our cooked spinach right in the middle here. But you can do this however you want, right? Food is art.
Ooh.
And I love it. So I'm keeping a little bit extra because I'm going to make a second bowl for Todd. And then I'm going to go ahead and use some of the red bell pepper. And I'm going to put that right here on the salad side. Very, very good. Don't forget, we have our flax seed that I am going to go ahead and just sprinkle right on top here. There we go. And here's our little parsley for accent. There we go. And now, oh, I almost forgot the beans. Don't forget the beans. They're so fantastic for us. So then I'm just going to go ahead and put the beans anywhere I want. Maybe I'll just put them right here on this side. Oh yeah, there we go. That looks great. Oh my goodness. And you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and grab a little avocado. Doesn't that sound delicious? Let's do that. Okay, so I sliced up a little bit. This is kind of like a thing that I wasn't really planning on, but it just looks so good. And I am just going to go ahead and put it right in the middle. These are just little tiny cut up avocado. Doesn't that look pretty? Nice, yes. All right. Lastly, our dressing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just, there we go, look at that. You can add more dressing if you want. You can keep it simple. You can add cracked pepper, which I'm gonna do. Okay, so it's time. Let's taste this. Look at that. Look at that, yummy. Where do I even begin? There's so many components here. Let me see if I can get a little of everything. Oh my goodness, all in one spoon. Or I mean fork. Maybe that's the thing, I need a spoon. Let me get some of those greens and a little bit of avocado. I'm cheating and using my hands. Here we go, ready? Woo! That's good. I really like that. I was really taking a moment to really enjoy all the bursts of the different flavors, as well as the different components of the cooked versus the raw, the crunchy versus the soft, the hot versus the cold. And I really, really like it. And I hope you give this a try. It's pretty simple to do and so fulfilling and beautiful. So I'm gonna go ahead and eat my greens. You know I am, but don't forget to eat your greens and give plants a chance, everyone. Take care and thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.